First of all, I feel like there is truth to everything that everyone is saying around Puff. I feel it's not a lot.
Everybody knew that Puff took Tupac blueprint and changed Biggs and Bad Boy in.
Eminem made waves with a notorious line in his 2018 diss track Killshot directed at Machine Gun Kelly, where he seemingly foreshadowed future events. In the track, Eminem raps, Kells, "The day you put out a hit's the day Diddy admits that he put out the hit that got Pac killed." This line has resurfaced amid an ongoing federal investigation into Sean Diddy Combs' past. Diddy reportedly didn't take the accusation lightly, responding in a now-deleted episode of Joe Budden's YouTube series. He stated that the issue with Eminem was dealt with privately. According to Us Weekly, Diddy remarked, "There's nothing to say about it, it's in my hands."
I think that last bar took it there with Puff. And I'm speculating here, but that was some
nothing to speculate about, nothing to talk about. Puff said it's in his hands, and he said I can say it.
All right.
And that's the end of that.
Have fun with that one.
He said, there's nothing to say about it. It's in my hands. We wild. Period.
Gene Deal has had some intriguing thoughts on the matter in the past, especially regarding Diddy's obsession with Tupac.
Everybody knew that Puff took Tupac blueprint and changed Biggs and Bad Boy in image. I Get Around talked about how fly you was, how many girls you mess with, how many cars you drive, how much money you got, what you willing to do. He took his image. Pac was the first one on the scene wearing Versace shirts. He went and got the same Versace shirts Pac had. Which, all right, some dudes would do that. You would never catch me wearing something else, something that somebody else got. He was knocking down all the women that he thought Pac was knocking down. And what I mean is having sex with. Why would you want to have sex with women you know for sure a dude that was once cool with you was dealing with? That's that image. Because you got to realize, bruh, Puff and Pac was cool at one time. We know this. Mopreem said that they was going to sign the Bad Boy. So if he's going to sign to Bad Boy, it was because of Corey and them. I put that picture on the internet. I put the picture on my channel of Corey Jones. Is Corey Jones, Corey Jacobs? I think Corey Jacobs and Pac right next to each other. Those was the real bad boys of Bad Boy. You understand? Those are the ones who got the 16 to life sentences. That Pac was gonna go and be with them first. But then Mopreem said, when it became just Big and Puff, because Corey and them went to jail, he changed his direction. But nobody know why Pac and Puff fell out like they did. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody know why. But Puff had an obsession with him for whatever reason it was, because he started wanting to act. He started wanting to rap. He had an obsession so bad that at his Grammy Award winning speech, he used the same speech that Pac used. That shit is crazy. So when I say I'm obsessed with talking about Puff and telling y'all the truth, who's obsessed with who? Pac had Sarah before Puff. Allegedly he had Sally before Puff. And Kim had an obsession or liked Pac so much, she on the red carpet with Tupac shirt on. Who's obsessed with who?
So you believe Diddy, he only got with Sarah Chapman because Pac, he had her at one point.
And it was a bet in the office. Sarah was messing with an NBA basketball player. Puff bet all the niggas didn't believe that he could get it within 2 weeks. $100. So she actually was a $100 bet that he got.
And who was the NBA player?
I think it was Gary Payton, allegedly. That's what he said. Somebody said, she messed with Gary Payton? I have it within 2 weeks. Me and him and Sarah went to this party in Chicago that he was hosting with the Streets Entertainment. And we went to the store called Cranberry and it's one of those stores like you get fragrance and you get candles, colognes and stuff like that. It's called Cranberry and something. And from that point on, yeah. But you gotta realize, Misa and Kim was friends. Misa and Kim was friends. He started dealing with Kim over Misa. Kim and Sarah was friends. I mean, hand to hand, pots and pans. They was close. They all used to, Sarah, Kim, and this other girl, I think she was from Atlanta. What's her name? It missed me right now, but they all used to hang together.
Gene Deal also mentioned how Diddy appeared to be notably indifferent to Tupac's death. Just 4 months ago, one of Tupac's cousins claimed in an interview that he believed Diddy was under investigation for Tupac's murder.
I got a two-part question for you. How do you feel about Puffy, and do you feel like he should be investigated for Tupac murder?
Yeah, so to answer to your first question, how I feel about Puffy, I'm gonna be very honest about my response. I have a lot of respect for what Puffy accomplished in his career. It's very difficult for a black man in America to accomplish the heights of success that he has accomplished. So I respect that. In a way, I respect his accomplishment, his climb up the ladder for what he was able to achieve. You know what I mean? You gotta look at that and you gotta say to yourself, wow, you know, that's admirable to come from nothing and be able to achieve what you achieved as a black man in this country. I know how hard that is, so I respect that. Now, to answer your question about that, first of all, I feel like there is truth to everything that everyone is saying around Puff. I feel it's not a lie. I feel that there's some truth to it because remember, I was around Pac during that time. You know what I'm saying? And I seen how things was transpiring. So I believe that there's some truth to it. That yes, in fact, Puffy was intimidated by Pac. You know, he felt like Pac was someone he was threatened by. You know, because look, dude, if you know Pac, you know, if you someone like a Puff, you would be threatened by him because every time you see Pac, he got a gun, like he got 2 or 3 guns, and he's like blatant. Pac is a dope dude. Don't get me wrong. He's not a bully or nothing like that. He's a funny guy. He's a nice guy, generous guy, peace-loving guy. But he wasn't having it. You know, he just wasn't having it. So I can see why Puff might have felt threatened by Pac. I can see. So if it's true that what everyone is saying, Keefy D, everyone coming on these podcasts, the storyline about Puff paying whoever to do whatever, you know, with Pac, if all that is true, like I said, he needs to be held accountable for. He needs to be held accountable. It has to be accountability from him for his involvement in getting my cousin killed. I try to keep my personality out of it because, like I said, I'm not in that space anymore where I wish harm on someone else. I just don't feel like that anymore. But I do feel that he has to be held accountable if it's true. And I think there's a lot of truth to what has been said. So I think the problem with what's going on with the Vegas PD, why they're stuck in that part of the investigation, is because they can't, I think it's money, but also it's because they can't find a corroborator with Keefe D's story. If they can find someone close to Puff that can say, yes, everything Keefe D just said is true, then they have a corroborating witness. True. If they don't have anybody that can corroborate Keefe D's statements as it applies to Puff, then they really not going to have Puff lawyers. Puff is wealthy. He will have lawyers that is tear that up, those accusations up, because there's no corroborating evidence.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Right. The only reason why they didn't arrest Puff yet is because they don't have corroboration. Now, on the other hand, this is just a guess, my opinion. I think that Puff is being investigated. I think that they're waiting, or they may be waiting for an opportunity for him to incriminate himself, just like Keefe D did. You know, probably on the phone though, like on a wiretap.
No, they arrested Puff. He went to jail right after Keefe D, early in the morning, but they said it was for a traffic ticket.
Oh.
But he went to jail. He got taken in down in Miami.
Did you go to jail for a traffic ticket?
No, but they said it was for a traffic ticket. But he did go to jail, get turned in, and he does. I mean, when you put $2 million on a person's head, you really that dude's too powerful. You can't fight with money like that. How you go? Pop couldn't beat that. $2 million on his head. What the hell could he have done to anybody to make him put $2 million on his head?
But that's a good point, though. I do believe that when you say that they probably got him wired, or they probably looking at his checks and stuff to see if he slip up and say something. That'll make sense too.
The reason why I think that is because there's too much chatter. There's too much chatter going on. You know, you got this guy, Keefe D, who made a deal with the LAPD to tell what happened so that he don't have to do time for a drug case that he was facing life with, right? And he was very, very forthcoming with the information, right? And even though he implicated all the people that was in the car with him and Puffy, the people that was in the car with him are dead. They're dead anyway. So there's nothing that can happen to them. But Puff is the only person living that has something to do with that. You got to think why he's not being arrested or even at least questioned, and that's why. He's rich, he got a lot of money.
He's a gangster.
Yeah, well, yeah, he's a gangster. But if they had a corroborating witness that can say, yeah, you know, Puff said this to me. He said this, and I swear on a stack of Bibles, he said it. That will be a different scenario.
Federal raids on Sean Diddy Combs' homes might be linked to the recent arrest of a mobster in connection with Tupac Shakur's 1996 murder. According to Phil Carson, a retired head of the Los Angeles FBI office who investigated the case, the search warrants for Combs' properties in Los Angeles and Florida could have been based on information from Dwayne Keith Keefe Davis, an alleged accomplice charged last year. Carson, an expert on 1990s hip-hop figures and police corruption surrounding Shakur's and Biggie Smalls' deaths, pointed out that Davis's arrest might prompt him to disclose new details about Combs in exchange for leniency.in, an exclusive interview with Daily Mail. Carson noted that Davis's potential life sentence could push him to reveal incriminating information about Combs. It's not like the old days where everyone kept quiet, Carson said. When someone is facing serious time, they're more likely to cooperate. Davis, who has had dealings with prominent figures from that era, might provide new insights or confessions to reduce his own sentence. In a 2008 agreement, Davis told LAPD officers that Combs had offered him $1 million to assassinate Death Row Records CEO Suge Knight. This statement, recorded by police and reported by LA Weekly in 2011, echoes concerns about connections to other violent incidents in the music industry. While Carson cautioned that it's not clear if these developments are the direct cause of the federal search warrants, he emphasized the importance of understanding the evidence and its origins.
I was thinking to myself the other day, Uptown Records started with 5 people. Andre Harrell, I'll Be Sure, Heavy D, and Puffy. And Kim was the longest working employee because she was there from the very beginning. She was Andre's personal assistant. Kim is dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only 2 left are Puffy and Al almost died. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
Heavy D was found dead, face down in the heart attack. Andre Harrell, heart attack. Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms. And then right after that, Al had a meeting, and I was going to meet up with him because we were in Vegas, and then the next thing you know...
Aaron Dyer, the lawyer for Sean Diddy Combs, has called the investigation a witch hunt based on what he describes as meritless accusations made during civil litigation. This follows a lawsuit filed last year in which an unnamed woman alleged that Combs and 2 of his friends assaulted her when she was 17, after she had been given drugs and alcohol. The woman, now in her late 30s, claimed in a detailed complaint that Combs flew her to his New York studio in 2003 and provided her with excessive amounts of drugs and alcohol. She supported her allegations with a photo of herself sitting on Combs' lap and joking at his Manhattan studio. This lawsuit is the 4th claim against Combs. It follows a previous complaint by R&B singer Cassie Ventura, who alleged that Combs subjected her to severe beatings and drug-fueled hotel parties.